today we will finally receive the last paramita of wisdom. And last week, when we talked about the fifth paramita of meditative absorption and the distinction between shamatha and dhyana under the larger umbrella of samadhi, Phuntsok spoke about this softening and opening, and that it isn't really about this extreme exertion of trying to get to the next level or gain something, but rather restoring our mind to its original state and softening to receive. So by restoring our mind and softening and opening and releasing afflictive conditioning, we are then a person who can really receive the Dharma and access clear awareness or wisdom. So today, Lama Phuntsok will speak about how we can achieve this access to our own clear awareness in a steady way so that it infuses every moment of every day. And then we can really put all the perfections into action. So, Phuntsok, please.
So we'll begin with meditation. And it's the same kind of meditation that we've been doing lately, where I'm not guiding you that much. I'm just start you and then I'll leave you alone and then you continue on your own, all right? So I'm just gonna click on the timer. Oh my goodness. They've updated the timer thing. Now I can't navigate. Okay, just have to trust me. When it's over, it's over. Okay, it's about, we're gonna meditate for about 15 minutes or so. What's the most important thing about beginning a meditation? You enter the meditation consciously. You set the intention, I'm going to meditate. Understand the reason why you want to meditate. Let that come to the surface of your mind. And as that natural intention, natural motivation is bubbling up, begin to just relax. Relax your body. Let it settle into the seat that you're sitting on, however you are sitting. Whatever adjustments you need to make, allow that adjustment to be guided by your own body itself. Okay, adjust your seat, adjust your back, adjust your arms, whatever needs adjustment, as long as it is being guided by your intention to enter meditation. That intention is guiding you. Oh, you want to meditate? Okay. Oh, fix your elbows, fix your seat, and then as you listen, you make adjustments. And as you are attuning to the body, making adjustments, you begin to start to experience yourself going into the meditation. A sense of calm is dawning in the body. A sense of calm because it's dawning in the body, because you have awareness of it, because you're aware of your body. That calm begins to permeate throughout your whole being, energetically, in the breath. It begins also to permeate in the mind. So just allow that natural permutation of the sense of calm to permeate your being. We are simply returning. We're not making anything happen. And as further signs begin to arise that we are indeed entering meditation, allow those signs, just be aware of them and allow them to just do their work. The sign of calm is one of them. The sign of pleasantness that is palpably felt physically, energetically, palpably felt somehow in the breath. And you begin to feel a palpable sense of pleasantness also in the mind. We're not talking about bliss yet. This is just like the shadow of the shadow of the shadow of bliss that we are aligning ourselves with. And the natural clarity and the natural radiance of the mind, those signs also begin to appear physically in the body, energetically as a sense of definite knowing, some sense of definite knowing. I know this is my body, a sense of that. I know my body is in this posture, a sense, a clear sense of that. And thoughts that are appearing, emotions that are appearing, sensations that are appearing within, we are aware of them. That's the sign of clarity dawning. And how present are these signs? How vivid are these signs? That's the luminosity beginning to dawn. So be aware of these things, and they will take us. They are the ones to come in, to get us, to take us to deep into meditation. So let them take your arms, let them take your hands. Just by being aware of them, there's the calm, there's the pleasantness. Oh, that was a clear thought. Ah, that's clarity. It was so vivid, so present. Ah, that's luminosity. And just being aware, continue, and just keep relaxing. Remembering the meditative state is not something we make, it's something we is already there. We allow ourselves to be aware of. And the last time, I left you to simply be aware of your energy, your sense of power. I'm not talking about the power to move the moon, to make the sun go in a different direction, just whatever sense of being able to do whatever, being able to move the mind, being able to move the thought, being able to bring up an emotion, being able to move your arm, being able, that sense that allows for the blood to circulate, that kind of palpable energy, not some abstract energy, but a real palpable present sense of energy. Just bring attention to that and allow yourself to simply rest in it. And as you're resting in it, what is happening to the clarity? What is happening to the luminosity? What is happening to the calm? What is happening to the pleasantness? And what is happening to the collectiveness of attention? And to have further help direct thoughts, just think this, just perhaps to sort of make the switch between outside and now, or before and now. You could, if you want to, you could take a nice deep breath, but make it conscious and be aware of the inhalation as much as you can, as much as you are going to be aware of the exhalation. However you want to do it. Okay, makes it consciously, make it deep. And as you relax, let breath go, relax, notice the signs becoming stronger and deeper. Rejoice witnessing that. Rejoice witnessing the signs, gaining strength. You want to reach a point where the body is so comfortable, so stable, you can completely let go of any concerns about the body for now. It's safe, it is stable. And you can begin to collect your attention more on the inner sensations. If the most immediate inner for you is the energetic, then bring attention to the energetic and let that go, take you even deeper to more inner happenings. And gently bring attention to the level of your eyebrows. Because you're in connection with energy, you begin to feel something physiologically at that level somewhere. Either it's in front of you, or it's stuck to your skin, or some distance from you. However you feel it, be aware, stay aware of it. And sometimes to help us go even a bit deeper, we might want to take 3 more breaths. So if you want to do that, take 3 more breaths. Consciously make it conscious and make it deep. And each time you breathe out, witness yourself, directing yourself, going deeper into these experiences of calmer, more pleasant, more clear, more vibrant, more collected. To what the Buddhists will call Buddha nature, to what others will call your true being, without fantasizing as to what that could be or what that might be, but just direct attention towards it and just stay with it while you feel it, your energy. And that's my last time I'm going to be talking in this meditation. And put your trust in it, respect it, and be grateful to it. Okay. Stay connected to whatever it is that you connected to through your meditation. Be aware that you are indeed in some measure in the meditative state by deliberately bringing attention to the signs, the measure of calm in the body, in the breath, the mind, energetically, whatever measure of pleasantness that is present in the body, in the breath, in the mind, how experiences are distinct, how experiences are vivid and present, to whatever degree the mind seems to be collected. Noticing any measure of these, witnessing them, acknowledging them, rejoice. And the energy that you've connected to your meditation, directed towards making this session, making this night as meaningful as possible. May that intelligence within us that is able to recognize truth, may it guide us. And be ready to come out of the meditation with that sense of joy that you've connected, that you've made contact with meditative state. Now create the intention to come out. Just like you consciously went in, you're consciously gonna come out. If you want to, take a nice deep breath to make the transition in through the nose, gently, deeply. And breathe out. As you breathe out, let yourself reconnect with your immediate surroundings, being aware of your sense of sight, the colors, the shapes, the sounds, the cushion, the chair, whatever that is within your environment. Okay. I think that was about 15 minutes. Okay, all right. So we've finally reached the last of the 6 perfections. There are actually more than 6 perfections, but generally speaking, they are listed as being 6 in number. Sometimes they're listed as 10, and depending on the tradition of Buddhism that you're going through, you could say Buddhism is sort of like separated into two general two general branches, you could say. One branch has a list of 10, and another branch has a list of 10. And then these 10, a lot of them are the same, but might be some differences here and there. Perhaps one might take one of those and make it into 3 or make it into 2. Or the other ones may include what the other one is talking about in something else. But it's essentially the same. And what are the 10? What are the perfections? They are the behavior and attitude that a human being must adopt so that they can become fully human. Okay. And they're called perfections in the sense that by adopting them, they make us more and more human. Not perfect in that psychological kind of dysfunctional way where we are trying to be perfect and we end up just hurting ourselves and hurting people around us, but rather become more and more what we are supposed to be, more and more what we're supposed to be. And eventually we arrive at the perfected state. And the perfected state is not, take that out of your head, it's not what you are thinking. Okay, that's not what the perfected state is. The perfected state is whatever it is going to be when you get there. Okay, stop worrying about what it is right now. As long as it is It doesn't have none of the stuff that we don't want to deal with. That's, you could say. Or it doesn't have the dysfunctional ways of dealing with stuff that we have right now. If we still have to deal with them, we will not be dealing with them in a dysfunctional way. We will be dealing with them in a way that is real. And what is it that among the 6 perfections, which one of the perfections really help us with that? To be able to arrive at a place, at a state of mind, to arrive at a time when we're able to deal with reality on reality's term, rather than on our what we would like it to be, what we want it to be, or in a way that is not in line with reality, but rather to deal with reality in a way that is in alignment with what reality really is. And before we go into what reality really is, and that's where a lot of people who are trying to practice wisdom lose it. They already have their ideas, the preconceived ideas as to what that's supposed to be, and they're trying to see it. There's one thing about what is referred to as the reality as it is, reality in its own term. As I'm sure it's in some sutra somewhere. Maybe they're using some, maybe it's translated somewhat different back then. That reality, meeting it on its real term, on its own term, is like a diva. You know what a diva is, right? Somebody who wants to be seen. But unlike a diva that goes out and say, look at me, look at me, look at me, and yell at people, but rather is there waiting to be seen and wants to be seen. And once you see it, it wants you to examine it, because it is completely convinced it is completely gorgeous. Okay? Because truth knows that it is completely gorgeous. It's not afraid of any part of itself. So it's not afraid of you. Oh, you might see my my little love handle. Let me hide my love handle. You might see that little thing in the back of my neck. Don't look in the back of my neck. Okay. Okay. The truth knows that it is completely gorgeous, so it's not afraid of being looked at from any perspective. Okay. So that is when you have something that you think is the truth. If that thing is afraid of being looked at, that's the first sign that you don't have truth. It shouldn't be afraid of being looked at. You shouldn't be afraid of being examined. You shouldn't be afraid to, hey, prove that you're gorgeous. And truth will say, isn't it evident? Look at my pinky. See how gorgeous it is? Look at the back of my hand. See how gorgeous it is? I'm gorgeous all over. Okay. So that's the thing about truth. It shouldn't be afraid of you looking at it. If it's afraid of you looking at it, then that's the first sign to let you know you don't have truth in front of you. And what is it that we shouldn't be afraid, be afraid of being looked at? And I'm not going to go into the traditional explanation of wisdom, where I'm going to quote a lot of scholars who are presenting very sophisticated ways, very sophisticated language. And for the most part, people end up saying, oh, that was very profound, because I understood nothing. I have no idea what the guy was talking about. But because thousands of people were listening to him or her, that must have been something very profound, because I have no idea what they were talking about. And then you go back to your own life and it does nothing for you. Okay. It may have been some kind of presentation of wisdom that is classical or something like that, but I'm not going to go into that way of presenting wisdom. Okay, I'm going to present it in a way that we are looking already. We are already looking. Remember, back to the story of the Buddha when he found a teacher who told him, oh, this is the ultimate. Here, take it. And the Buddha did his practice, and then the Buddha had an experience, and then he told the guy, "Is that?" And he explained the experience, and the guy said, "Yeah, that's the ultimate." And the Buddha looked at it. Guess what? It wasn't a diva. It was afraid of being looked at. In other words, the Buddha looked at it and said, from the depth of my heart, from the depth of my being, from what I have this instinct that tells me this is what truth is supposed to be. The experience that I had, yeah, it was profound, it was beautiful. It doesn't match. It doesn't quite satisfy that hunger within me. It doesn't quite hit the spot. And because of that, that's how the Buddha knew that that wasn't it. And he went searching further. And how and what was the journey like? And that's what that's what I would like us to talk about. What was the journey like? What was the journey where that made the Buddha have an experience and say, ah, this is it? And we have to consider ourselves in the same, consider yourself to be in the same position of the Buddha. First of all, wisdom is not some exotic thing for some exotic people, for some elite out there, okay? If you're having any sense of dissatisfaction, if there are any experiences, are there things happening in you, in your mind, in your body? Are there things happening in your environment? Are there things happening in your relationships that makes you feel dissatisfied? That very sense of being dissatisfied is our innate desire for wisdom. We have something within us that is telling us, ah, something is not quite right here. If we were completely idiots, completely disconnected from this wisdom, how do we know things are not the way it's supposed to be? Why are we feeling that there's something not quite right? What is it comparing? What is that comparing itself to say it is not right? Right? That means something within us already has a connection to this. That's why when you have that experience that is truly in alignment with reality, that it is that part within us that say, ah, that's it. This is what I was looking for. And you will have a sense of complete, finally arriving at an experience that you can say, this is satisfying. I'm actually satisfied. Okay. That's how we know we have arrived. An innate in one of the sutras, I think it's called the Shurangama Sutra. I have to say something that makes me sound like I read something. In the Shurangama Sutra, chapter I don't remember, verse I don't remember, the Buddha described it as a turning in the very depth of being, a definite turning in the depth of your being. That is an actual experience of that turning. Something definitely changed deep within you, and it is unmistaken. And no one outside of you can tell you, no, sorry, you haven't had the experience. Something within you has shifted, to put it in a kind of new way of speaking, a definite shift has taken place within you. That's when you know you have found wisdom, you have found truth. Okay. Now, let's use that natural instinct to come to an understanding of what is wisdom. Like when you hear wisdom, there's something, when you hear that word wisdom, I'm not talking about just the English word wisdom, whatever language you have that sense of that something that in English is called wisdom, in other languages is called whatever, la sagesse, okay? Wisdom, okay? Whatever it is that English speakers, a sense of something that we turn towards and we give it the label wisdom. What is it? Let your instinct guide you, okay? Never mind what the books say, no matter how smart the guy is, how many PhDs this person has. That's not what's going to help you understand what is wisdom. You hear the word, it is calling something within you. What is it calling? Let's use a nice word in the email. Clear awareness. Clear awareness. It is an awareness that has a certain degree of clarity about it. And what is that? What is it clear about? What is it that? What is that? What is it that you are aware of? And what is the clarity? Okay. Now let that continue to sink. Let that continue to bubble up to see what is coming up. What is instinctively coming up? It is a clear awareness about certain things. What is really good for me and what is really bad for me. And I'm using the word really in there, not in the superficial way, what you might call the, what's that term? The difference between pleasure and happiness, when you contrast those two, right? Something could be pleasant, but not necessarily good for you. I'm not talking about that kind of being good for you. I'm talking about really good for you, okay? Like bitter medicine. It probably could be very unpleasant, and yet it is good for you, really good for you in that sense, okay? So it's having a clear awareness of what is really good for you and what is really not good for you. I'm putting it in this simplistic term so that we can get just to the bareness of it, okay? And if you want to expand what is what is really good, what is really not good, you can say what is correct, what is incorrect. Okay. What leads to your own welfare, what leads away from your welfare. Okay. So having a clear awareness about those two. This is really not good for me. This is really good for me. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. Supposedly, I'm using the word supposedly because I'm not quite convinced yet. So take that as a background. Supposedly, I'm not supposed to have gluten. Supposedly. Okay. So I've read that somewhere, and I've read it in many places. Is it wisdom yet? Because I still like my bagel. Especially with a little butter and a little salt and pepper. So is it wisdom yet? Is it a clear awareness that gluten is not good for you, Phuntsok? So I can hear it over and over again, and I'm keep getting all those symptoms. Oh, I'm a bit tired today. It's not the gluten. My mind is kind of foggy today. No, it's not the gluten. Oh, what is this? I can't get rid of this little pouch. It's not the gluten. Okay. But even though every once in a while, someone may say, I read, maybe it's gluten. Okay. So until I have clear knowing that about this gluten situation for myself, it's not wisdom yet. It's not a clear awareness. No, I use gluten, but I'm going to say something else that you're going to say, but what? You're going to huff and you're going to puff. You're almost going to pass out. We say, but that's wisdom. It says so in the book. things lack inherent existence. Is that wisdom? It says so in the book, especially the books that talks about wisdom. Is it wisdom yet? Is it a clear awareness for you? And the reason I'm making that statement is for those of us, everyone is after wisdom. I already told you. If you feel any kind of dissatisfaction, you're after wisdom. Okay. Unfortunately, there are different traditions that have different ways of presenting wisdom that makes it unattractive to some people. So to the point where people say, I don't want wisdom. I don't want that. I don't want that stuff. Thinking of wisdom as some, I don't know, like some flavor that you can decide to want or not want. Okay. If you're a living being, you experience dissatisfaction. The very experience of dissatisfaction, the very awareness that of experiencing dissatisfaction is you seeking wisdom. So there's no if and there's no if about it. Wisdom is not just for, it's for those guys, who like to meditate, the guys who go to caves, the guys who are always reading a book. The wisdom is for them. They're the one who are interested. No, wisdom is for everyone. Doesn't matter what your profession, doesn't matter how busy you are with your profession, doesn't matter how much leisure you have or don't have, wisdom is for everyone. Okay? Wisdom is the antidote to get rid of any innate dissatisfaction. Okay. All right. Let me really get to it because I think that was too much of an introduction. Let's go deep into it now. Okay. When we're doing the meditation, we're simply being aware of whatever was going on. Being aware of what is actually going on, no matter no matter whether of what is going on is pleasant or unpleasant, being aware of it and being aware, oh yeah, it is unpleasant. Oh yeah, this is pleasant. That is clear awareness. That being aware of that is wisdom. That is the beginning of wisdom. The beginning of wisdom is not studying Nagarjuna and then writing a dissertation on whether emptiness lack inherent existence or not. That's not your beginning trip on wisdom. As a matter of fact, for a lot of people, that is escapism. Okay? Diving deep into Nagarjuna, trying to understand something that somebody wrote 2,000 years ago, not dealing with the fact that you have a mortgage to pay. Okay? You have to get on the bus. You have to deal with that person. You have to deal with this person. That's your reality. That's what's going on. I get annoyed with so-and-so. Not that you should be annoyed for the rest of your existence because you are aware that you're annoyed, but because you are aware, that's what's happening. You're annoyed when you're annoyed. You're aware that you're annoyed when you're annoyed. Being aware that you're annoyed when you're annoyed, that is wisdom. Being aware that you are annoyed when you are annoyed, that is wisdom. Being aware that, oh my God, this guy's, this guy's boring. I'm aware of it. That is wisdom. Okay? That's the first level of being able to, of the path of wisdom, being aware of whatever is going on. If you want me to recite text for you that says it, okay, I won't recite directly, but I'll recite indirectly. In almost every manual where a description of wisdom is being given, there is the description of so-and-so is distracted and so-and-so is aware that so-and-so is distracted. That is wisdom. So-and-so has nervous tensions. So-and-so is aware that there are nervous tensions in one's experience. Being aware that's what's going on, that is wisdom. And eventually, when you're experiencing lofty experiences, bliss, peace, and that's what's actually going on, and you're aware of it, that is also wisdom. So wisdom, the object of clear awareness, is not simply some beautiful, whatever is called beautiful experience. Okay, it's not only being able to explain Nagarjuna's dissertation on the mullah. Okay, that's not what wisdom is necessarily. Okay, it begins with being open to whatever is actually happening, whether it is pleasant or unpleasant, and being aware of it. It doesn't mean to stay with it. It doesn't mean don't do anything about it. As a matter of fact, you can only do something about it by being aware of it, that it is there. That's the only way you can begin to do something about anything, to actually see it. If you don't see symptoms, what are you going to treat? What are you going to treat if you don't see symptoms, if you're not aware of the symptoms? Okay, the symptoms will connect you to its cause eventually. So you can say, okay, there's the cause, let me now pluck it out. That's the action to take. Okay. So it begins with simply being aware of whatever is going on, because what is Nagarjuna talking about? What is Chandrakirti talking about? What is it that all these great philosophers are talking about anyway? They're talking about immediate experiences. And by beginning to allow ourselves to be aware of whatever is going on, whether, especially when it is unpleasant, and not being attached to it. When it is pleasant, not being attached to it, just being aware of it, whatever is going on emotionally, energetically, what kind of thoughts are associated, just being aware of them. Okay, that's the first thing. That will give us the training that we need so that eventually we will be able to be aware of more subtle things that are happening. Eventually, we will be able to be aware of the subtle things. The subtle things of what? The subtle things connected to the experiences that we are having. Okay, you've heard, for a lot of you spoiled Buddhists out there, you've heard the word emptiness a lot. And that's supposed to make you, oh, I know emptiness. I've heard that term before. I read it. Okay. And that's supposed to be the wisdom when you get to emptiness. Okay. Okay, what is emptiness talking about? Is it talking about the moon? Is it talking about the man who lives on Mars? Is it talking about, I don't know, what's happening on Saturn? It's talking about that very unpleasant experience that you're having. It's talking about the very pleasant experience that you're having. For those of you who are already familiar with emptiness, you get to emptiness by looking nakedly at whatever experience that is happening. Right here, right now. That's how you get to emptiness. You don't get to emptiness by putting aside your experiences and go look for something else. You will spend many lifetimes doing that and get nowhere. Okay, you won't spend many lifetimes. You will spend many decades. That's even scarier, because many lifetimes, I don't even believe in other lifetimes. That's so scary. You will spend many decades getting nowhere. But you will be able to explain you're able to regurgitate a bunch of things that Nagarjuna said, and none of it will have anything to do with your actual experience. You will still be somebody who gets angry for no reason. You will still be somebody who has dissatisfaction. The reason for wisdom is to deal with our sense of dissatisfaction, whatever it may be, at whatever level we are experiencing it. If reading Nagarjuna is not helping you, if you read in Nagarjuna and then that's not helping you to deal with your reality, then Nagarjuna has no purpose in your life. Okay? Nagarjuna didn't write what he wrote so that people can escape into some fantasy about some philosophy. Nagarjuna wants you to deal with your mortgage, with your kids, with your parents, with your in-laws. Nagarjuna wants you to deal with the fact that you live in the kind of body that gets sick. You live with kind of mind that experiences this kind of experience. That's what the Nagarjuna was talking about. That's what he wanted us to deal with. He didn't want us to write dissertations and PhDs that decorates bookshelves. Okay? So by beginning to be real with your experiences as they are taking place, these experiences begin to unfold the experience of wisdom. And eventually you arrive at that wisdom, which is a turning within, a definite turning from within. This is what I was looking for. I have found it. And no one can tell me otherwise, and not afraid of anyone trying to prove to me that it is not. Remember, wisdom is a diva who is convinced is totally gorgeous. Okay? It's not afraid of somebody testing it. It loves to be tested because it's someone is looking at it and being, wow, you're gorgeous. Oh my God, look at you, you're gorgeous. My God, your toes are gorgeous. Okay. He said, I told you so. I told you so. And I know it. Okay. All right. So by looking at your actual experiences as they are taking place. Right now, I'm feeling confused. Is that what's actually happening? That's wisdom. I'm feeling a bit nervous. If that's what's actually happening, then that's wisdom. I feel this way about this. If that's how you're actually feeling, then that's your wisdom. And by being aware of that, perhaps that wisdom will begin to unfold. The first layer of unfold. So there's the meeting what actually is taking place. First layer of wisdom. Seeing, allowing what's happening to be seen for yourself to see it. Then wisdom begins to unfold. Then you enter into what you might call the psychological level of wisdom. Or this feeling is because of that. This sensation is because of that. I react this way because of this. You're not making these things up in your mind. The very experience that is actually taking place is pointing to it. In the same way that we are seeing the experience that is actually taking place, we see, it is connected to that. Like, for example, Jimba, everybody knows Jimba. Jimba is my greatest example of a great meditator. After years of meditating, everyone knows Jimba to be a great, loving, patient person. And after years of meditating, talk about years of meditating in retreat, not like, he wakes up and meditates for 5 minutes and goes to work and come back. Talking about actual devoted time to meditation. After years of doing that, all of a sudden, Jimba was loving, is getting a lot of anger is coming up in his experience. He's getting very angry. What is going on? And this is very confusing for Jimba, who fully accepted. Took years of meditating for Jimba to finally, and not years after that experience, of course, within a few weeks of, oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm just angry. I don't know why. And by sitting with it, by not denying it, by saying, wait, I'm supposed to be a loving person. Anger, get out of here. You're not me. Get out of here. But rather, anger was what it was present. Anger is what you acknowledge being present. And the anger pointed to what, this is because you have a conviction that you are not worthy of love because of this experience. And it wasn't like, a lecture that happened in his head. This is the reason why you are. No, it's just that a flash of experience happened in his mind. And then within that flash of an experience, he downloaded, you said, the text. And the text was, oh, because of that experience, but I had okay, that came way later. Okay. Now, now he's free of that anger. Because he's free of whatever, and that was blocking him in some way. And in a sense, freed him from a particular grasping he had about his ego. I am loving, I have no anger in me. That is me, that is my identity, okay? So that proved to him that, hey, that's not the truth yet. Right? Cool. So the first level, direct experience. Second level, psychological wisdom begin to unfold. And within the psychological level that begins to unfold, this is now where you take notes, if you want to take notes. Then your mind begins to, some strange thing begins to happen with your mind. That is that which you are using to actually look at the experience that's actually taking place. Something begins to happen to the mind also, as you begin to show deep interest in really knowing what's going on. You're really interested in what is going on. You begin to notice projections that you have about what the experience is supposed to be. And what is it that these projections do? They help us to become distracted. When we believe we already know something, we don't go dig deep into knowing any further. Oh, I already know. And this, I already know, is not something that we are consciously doing. It's something that is happening more at the subconscious level. I already know. Because of that sense of I already know, it's easy for us to be distracted from the experience. So the sense of, this is unpleasant, let me get away from this. Then we distract ourselves because we don't want to have the experience. We think that just knowing that it is unpleasant and wanting no longer to have the unpleasant experience is enough. And then we distract ourselves. That's all we can do. All we can do is distract ourselves, because that's what we have become masters of, being able to distract ourselves from reality, from our immediate experiences. So this next level of experience, we become aware of how we are distracting ourselves from our experiences. Put it in a simple way, in a actual lived experience way. So-and-so says something to me. It hits something that I have no idea what it hits. I become angry. The anger is unpleasant for me and I want to be distracted from it. And I already have my, what I think is, I know what it is. So what do? I shout, I yell, I become defensive. I'm not really looking at the actual experience itself. This is distracting ourselves. I am angry. That's wisdom. Shouting. If you are, I don't want to shout, but I'm shouting, that's wisdom. But the shouting itself is not wisdom. But being aware that's what's happening as you're doing it, and you don't know, and you would like to know why, and you see that you don't know why, that's wisdom. The thing is, understanding these small steps as connected to wisdom helps us to make the big step to actually arrive at that big wisdom. Putting those aside, looking for some abstract knowing, some burst of light that's supposed to be wisdom, we're not getting anywhere. We're not going to actually arrive at wisdom. What does that mean? We're not going to actually arrive at wisdom. We're never going to arrive at that thing that is going to help us get rid of this sense of dissatisfaction. Okay. So I'm angry, and I notice, I'm angry. What is it that I have programmed myself to protect myself in such a way that I'm convinced I need to protect myself with anger? Well, that's what anger is. It's an instinct to protect. Whoever I believe I am is being threatened, and the instinct is to protect whoever I am. So there's a sense that I am is being threatened, and anger comes up. So what is that I am that I'm trying to protect, that feels so vulnerable that it wants to tap into powerful destructive energy to protect itself? Because that's what's going on. And if you just sit with it, all these things will come up. You will come to understand, that's what anger is here for. In general, that's what this anger is here specifically. That's what it's trying to do. Because of this conviction, because of that lack of conviction. And that's wisdom unfolding. And eventually, we will arrive at a point where we know, and this will take some time to get there, but you can only get there by just doing what you did with your meditation. Whatever is going on, just be with it and let it reveal itself to you. Okay, let it reveal itself. Remember, it's the diva. It wants to be seen. Okay, it's not shy. It knows it's gorgeous all around. Okay, so as you continue with that, with that, let yourself see just exactly what is going on. Just being open to it. You notice your mind is making up stories. I don't want to deal with this. This is unpleasant. Okay, let me give you a reason why this is happening, so we can get away from it, so we can get out of here. Okay. It's because of the lights happening in the Pleiades. They've conjunct in a certain way. Okay, that's the reason why you're feeling. Okay, all right, that's the reason, and then you become distracted. Okay. Of course, it may not be exactly that way, but eventually you become aware of the stories that we are making up that are distracting us from arriving at wisdom. This is a monumental awareness to be aware of. To be aware of how we are wrong, how we have been wrong all these years, all these decades, all our life. This is, and I'm saying again, this is a monumental discovery to come face to face with your ignorance. And ignorance is too tainted. I'm going to say to come face to face with how we misunderstand the experience that is taking place. We come face to face with our misunderstanding of the very experience that is taking place. And we have to take this misunderstanding like a little child who's afraid. Take the hand of misunderstanding and then walk with misunderstanding. You say, oh, so you're convinced I am so fragile that this will destroy me. What is that is going to destroy me? And you look at it the same way you look at your experience. That's it. I'm angry now. I'm upset now. I'm nervous now. the same way you allow yourself to be aware of it, because that's what's actually happening, then you let misunderstanding show you, okay, show me how I'm going to be destroyed. Show me. And misunderstanding will say, okay, all right, let me show you. And it's going to be very shy because it's not a diva. It's going to try to hide things from you, but just keep looking. Keep looking. Wait a minute, you're saying you have a back, but you're not showing me your back. You're saying you have a side, but you're not showing me the side. Okay, let me see the side. You said you have a side, let me see the side. Okay, basically, the same way we allow ourselves to have a direct seeing of what is actually taking place. I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm nervous. We use that same way of clear seeing to look at the misunderstanding. And what happens when you shine the light of clear awareness on misunderstanding? It's not a diva. What happens to it? It disappears. It goes away. Because its nature is misunderstanding, and then you're shining understanding light on it. Misunderstanding does not undo understanding. Rather, understanding undo misunderstanding. And when you directly see that, the destruction you are talking about is not real, then you really see it. It's not because you read it in the book. It's not because Nagarjuna told you. It's not because Professor Thurman told you. It's not because Guru told you. But because you are seeing it. You took the hand of misunderstanding. You said, come on, show me. Don't be afraid. Show me. I'm open to see. I'm open to see. I'm open to accept whatever it is that you let me see. And it's going to try to show you. It's going to try to show you. So this is the back, but where's the front? If it has a back, it has a front. Well, it doesn't have a front. That doesn't make sense. Okay, here's the side. Okay, if it has a side, what's the other side? When does it have another side? But that doesn't make sense. Okay, and eventually you will show the child of misunderstanding that there's nothing to be afraid of. It's like the child is convinced there's a monster under the bed, and you take the child's hand, make the child feel safe with your presence, and now the child feels safe with your presence, and you look under the bed together, and the child doesn't see any monster. So the child is no longer afraid of a monster because there's no monster there to be afraid of. The only way for wisdom to mature, we have to first see our misunderstanding, and then allow misunderstanding to make itself present its case to us. Make it present its case to us. Who's going to be destroyed? What's going to destroy who? Okay. Now, because we are more aligned with misunderstanding than understanding, when misunderstanding begins to fade by the light of understanding, another psychological, energetic experience takes place. Terror takes place. Why do we have terror? Because we are more familiar with misunderstanding as reality. And when what we believe, what's convinced was reality, begins to disintegrate before our very eyes, and we don't yet have understanding fully developed, we are terrified that we are actually, this is it, this is the destruction I was talking about. I'm about to be annihilated with truth. I knew I had a suspicion that truth was dangerous, and here I am about to be destroyed because truth is about to destroy me. Okay. If you have that experience, good. That means you're way ahead. And I'm talking about not pretend terror, I'm talking about terror, terrified terror, that your existence is about to be undone. because the misunderstanding is unraveling and you have nothing to replace it with. That should terrify you. If it doesn't terrify you, you're just imagining this. You're just pretending this is an experience. Just like you are pretending, emptiness. Okay? When you're on the search for truth, you go through these stages. When you're about to uncover the unreality of misunderstanding, uncover it, see it directly, the unreality of misunderstanding. The natural thing is you get terrified. It's part of the path. Okay. And that's why there's a term in all the sutras. When you reach that stage and you're not completely terrified, just like I'm angry, but you don't become, you don't make anger your being, but you just recognize that it is there. In the same way, there's absolute terror here, but you don't identify with it as this is you. Just acknowledge there's terror here. In that same way, you continue to maintain clear awareness of what's going on. That clear awareness will take you through. That experience is referred to in all the sutras as the patience. Patience. It's called the patience being able to bear the unbearable. The patience that bears the unbearable. Okay. That's the sign. And we experience this terror in, it's not like a big experience that happens over 8 hours, over the whole entire day. It's not like a bad trip, okay? Like you had some poison mushroom and you thought they were magic mushroom or something. You took too much LSD or something like that, I don't know. Okay, it's not like a bad trip that lasts for 8 hours. That's not that kind of terror. You can taste it for half a second, for half a moment. And the first encounter terrifies you so much that you let it go because you cannot bear it. But eventually you're able to bear it because you cannot go back. You can't go back to unreality anymore. You can't go back to holding on to misunderstanding as reality, but rather you want to continue. There's something within you that makes you want to continue. Makes you want to continue. Okay, if my annihilation is what's going to happen, then okay, that's what's going to happen. Okay. And the terror also comes from, there is something that is going to be annihilated. It's what we in Western psychology call the false ego, the false identity. It's going to be annihilated. And because that's where we identify mostly, we think we are going to be annihilated. That's why there's that terror. So that false ego will be annihilated with the light of wisdom. And eventually, we go through the patience, endurance, and that's probably a more sexy way of translating that term. We go through that experience called the patience, endurance, and we make it through. Then the terror, what was absolute terror before, and sorry, I'm gonna have to say it, the terror is in, okay, it's not in 8 hours, but it's in grades. It's like, oh my God, this is scary. And then it grows into absolute terror. It's like watching a scary movie, they play that music, something terrible is about to happen, and you begin to be afraid already, and then, it's like that, okay? It builds up, the terror builds up until, I'm gonna be annihilated! And eventually you witness the false ego annihilated. And in that same moment, in that same space where you're experiencing terror, there's now bliss. The bliss of absolute freedom. The bliss of absolute freedom. Okay. And then now the turning about in the deep depth of your heart takes place. There's a turning, there's a shift, and there's no turning back. Okay. You've heard silly arguments about, can somebody enter nirvana and lose it? That's impossible. Okay. If somebody said, oh, I had nirvana the other day, that person was talking about some kind of ice cream flavor or or maybe they met one of the members of Nirvana. Okay. There's no having Nirvana last week and then you lost it. Okay. It's a shift. It's a shift because you've met reality. You met the diva. And you know, without a doubt, diva is absolutely gorgeous. Okay. There's no going back. Okay. Now, it is in that space, it's that space that all those texts are trying to explain what happens. I would explain what happens with this story. And every religion can take that story and then use it, because no, when a story is speak a certain truth, every religion uses it as if it's their own story. No, that happened with Muhammad. No, that happened with Jesus. That happened with Moses. That happened with Zoroaster. Okay. Okay, here's the story. So two seekers of truth started to debate the nature of reality, debating truth, describing truth. Oh, she was red. No, describing truth. And the more the debate, the more subtle the debate becomes. Then eventually, because they were both seekers of truth, they were meeting their misunderstandings and letting them go, allowing themselves to see what really there, what is really there, what is really there, what is really there. And eventually they arrive at what is really there. And when they arrive at what is really there, they both shut up. And someone said, now they're speaking the truth. Before that, all that debate that they were doing, all those subtle words that they were saying, the quantum field, saying a lot of sophisticated words. When they finally arrive at the actual experience, and they both just became silent, that silent was the most beautiful explanation of the truth ever. Okay, so you will have an experience. I'm not talking about because you just lack vocabulary to explain things that you will find yourself silent. I'm talking about you will look into your vast vocabulary of concepts and you will not find any of those things being able to describe the experience. Okay, some people have maybe limited store of concepts. They just need some more concepts to be able to describe it, certain experiences. But it's really, when you really have that experience, just like I am angry, and that you're really angry, I'm upset, I'm really upset, you really say, I can't find any concepts for it. And that's truth, and that is the truth. Then you may have met the diva. Okay, the beauty of the diva is completely indescribable. Masam jeme shera parochim makimega so running okay, masam jeme, indescribable. Indescribable doesn't mean that you cannot write 1,000 books trying to describe it. Oh yeah, you can write 1,000 books trying to describe it, but it's not really describing it. Okay, you're always going to miss something because there's something about it that is beyond words. There will be something about your experience that is beyond words, beyond expression. Okay. What's the difference between having an experience, clear awareness of an experience that is beyond words, and being unconscious? Okay, you were thinking about that for a while. Okay. Two absolutely different things. You can describe in words being unconscious. You can describe it in words. I just did. I was unconscious. I was not aware of anything. I lacked awareness at that moment. That was the experience. But the indescribable is you are having an experience. You are having an awareness, but there's no words to describe the experience, the awareness. Okay? All right. So that's the journey for wisdom. Being truthful to what is actually taking place. And that begins the process of opening up wisdom. Be truthful. That is the most powerful advice that can be given for how do you actually arrive at the experience that Nagarjuna is describing. Be truthful to whatever experience you're having at the moment that you're having it. It is that attitude that gets you to that wisdom that eventually becomes the heart, the shift turning. Okay. Okay, we're gonna end very soon. Before I end, just gonna say a little something that to grab at your heart. We all know to get to something, whatever that A may be, we need a knowing. We need to know something. How do I get to Canada? I need to know how to get there. That's how I would get myself to Canada. Otherwise, I can end up in Brazil, the opposite direction, right? Or I can keep going around the earth for the rest of my life and never get to Canada, right? So instinctively, we know to get to an experience that we want to get to, there's a knowing that we need. Look at your life. What is happening? There are things happening that you wish wasn't happening. There are things that are happening that you wish would continue to happen. And there are experiences that we conceptualize, we wish were happening. How do we get to those experiences? Or how do we get to the end of certain experiences? We need to know something. We need to know something. We need a knowing. And there is a knowing that is considered to be the absolute knowing. And when we know it, everything else will be taken care of. And I'll end it this way. What is it that we're supposed to be knowing? When you're angry, know you're angry at the moment that you're angry. Begin that way. When your knowing is abstracting, it is distracting. Oh, that's kind of rhyming a little bit. I'll leave it like that. All right, now time for your great questions.
I have a question, Phuntsok.
Yes.
You say knowing in the moment of the anger, as your example, is, the key to wisdom, but it's really difficult to do that sometimes, And so I guess my question is there still merit into, even if 5 minutes after the anger event, is it still worth it? Is it still helpful? Does it still take steps so that you can then be aware of it next time if something like that should arise again? Is there still the benefit of collecting wisdom if it's, reflecting on that moment in the past, I guess, is my question.
Okay, yes. All right. There's several things in that. As the anger is taking place, and it is unpleasant, it is difficult, we recognize being difficult, being unpleasant is also happening. And you're aware of that. That's wisdom. I cannot deal with this now. That is also a reality. You don't force yourself to deal with it when that's what the reality is. I cannot deal with it now. And that's what a lot of people end up causing themselves harm when something is harming them and they're not able to deal with it. And they just say, oh, I'm supposed to just stay with it because staying, I cannot deal with it is somehow some sort of fanciful, wise thing to do. I am having this experience right now and I cannot deal with it. This interaction that we are having right here, right now is very unpleasant and I'm trying to deal with this. I'm trying to stay with it and I cannot find the capacity, the ability to right now to deal with it. That's a reality that's happening right now. And you communicate that, right? Otherwise, we're abusing ourselves. And we're also misleading the other person thinking that some sort of resolution is being getting at when it's not. When what's really happening is I really can't deal with this. That's the reality, and then that's not what we are allowing ourselves to really see that's happening, and that's not what we are communicating. We are communicating something else. Oh, go ahead, I can take it. Keep abusing me, right? Even though the person is holding you, and you can't take it, acknowledge I cannot take it. Even if the person is not allowing you to leave, but at least for your own self, acknowledge what's going on. Now, later on, you can revisit the experience in your memory, knowing that what is happening now at that moment, I am reviewing this in my memory. This is a memory of something that happened. That what am I doing now? I am reviewing a memory. That's what's actually happening. And that's a wonderful way to be able to undo certain habits, especially things which are difficult that we cannot deal with when they're actually happening, is later on, go to the memory, and then now you're able to be with it because it's just a memory, and then you sort of interact with that memory to sort of give you it's like exercising your muscles with weights so that in the actual situation, you're able to lift the things that needs to be lifted, right? The thing is always be true with what is actually taking place. I am angry. I would love to be able to stay with it, but I don't have also within this experience, within this continuum, there is the inability to stay with it. It is uncomfortable. That's also what's happening. And we have to pay attention to that too. Okay. Thank you. All right. I guess it's late, as usual.
I was
yes.
going to say one thing. Thank you so much. And it looked like you were looking, or I understood that you were looking for a word when you were describing patience.
Mm.
And what came to mind was that patience is that guardian angel who kind of bears you to the unbearable. That was what came to mind.
Mm.
So
That's a
just
very
wanted
good
to
image
share
of
that.
that. Yeah. It's like it holds you in that experience so you can go through it. Yeah. Anybody asked about how the six paramitas connected to each other? That's another class. I'll just say they are connected. Wisdom is everywhere. In order for the others to be paramitas, they have to have wisdom in them. That's what makes generosity the perfection of generosity, because it is imbued with wisdom. Okay? Look at this perfection of generosity. Here, I cannot give you my phone. I'm attached to it. That's perfection of generosity. That's what's actually going on, man. Later on, when I'm not so attached after, then I can give you, then when I give you the phone, it will be really giving you the phone, rather than, oh my God, I gave my phone away. That's not giving. All right. Okay. All right. Let's do a closing meditation. And again, like every night, sorry, it's dragged on a bit longer than usual. And for those of you expecting emptiness being talked about a lot, sorry, I didn't mention it that much. You can go to those books and read that word to help you. But if you want to immediately apply it to your life, then really that's it. Okay. Okay, tell your whole collection, physical, emotional, analytical, energetic, tell them, hey, let's go meditate. Let's enter into our natural state. And begin to feel that in the body, in a sense of calming, probably in the toe or in the knee or somewhere there's a pleasant sensation slowly arising. That's good. Let's let that continue. Awareness of the breath in such a way where you're able to touch calm and pleasantness in the breath. Let yourself go into that. Notice it energetically. Notice it's gently beginning to arise in the mind. A sense of clarity, a sense of pleasantness, a sense of clear experience. And if you wish, take a nice deep breath to stabilize. As you breathe out, let yourself go deeper into the experience of calm, pleasantness, clarity, radiance, collective attention. Have the sense of us in terms of your own us, your body, your mind, your legs, your left leg, your right leg. They're all those different parts that makes what you say, me, your own us. And feel the instinct of that us, how the right hand is ready to help the left hand without thinking, well, should I help the left hand? The right hand goes through the aid of the left hand because it's us. So when you have that sense of us, that sense of readiness of any part of you to go to the aid of the other because it's us, feel all of us now. So in your very space, sitting in a circle, and to help you have that sense of us, imagine someone is looking at us, these people sitting in a circle. Look at them, and you say us, look at us, and have that sense of us. And in the same way that your right hand was ready to help the left hand, thinking I'm just helping me. So have that sense of readiness to help the other person. And it feels just like your right hand helping your left hand. Feel that readiness. And as you feel it, in the very center of that circle, that very sense of us begins to manifest as a light presence. And as that sense of us gets stronger and stronger, then that bright light presence in the center of our circle becomes brighter and bigger, brighter and bigger. And that sense of us extends beyond just us in the circle. Everything and everyone in the environment is included in that us, and that light absorbs us, absorbs everything in it. Your neighbors, your pets, your cats, everyone in your neighborhood is absorbed in that light, and you feel us, 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 the instinct of the right hand helping the left. It continues to expand the entire country, the entire earth. And if you can, in a real way, have that same feeling, have it expand to the entire universe, then do so. But if that is too abstract, doesn't feel real, and then just stay with just the earth. And let that feeling of exercise, recognize that instinct of the right hand helping the left. Look at the ocean, feel the instinct to help the ocean. Look at the sky, feel the instinct to help the sky. Look at the mountains, the trees, the grass, the birds, the antelope, the deers, the wolves, all of them, us. And when that instinct becomes fully permeated, fully instinctual, imagine it that way, then we no longer need this image to help us feel that. Then that bright light begins to shrink. And as it shrinks, it leaves a shining sort of shimmer on everything that it touched, that it absorbed, until it comes back to the very center of our circle. And to remind us of this us-ness, a light ray issues from the very center of that bright presence in the center, connecting all of us at our heart level. And we have this knowing, when I really help myself, I help all of us. When I really help all of us, I am at the same time helping me. And with that, the light feels satisfied with our realization. It splits into rays of light that completely absorbs into each of one of our hearts. And we feel that instinct still with us. To help the ocean is to help us. To help the Democrats is to help us. To help the Republicans is to help us. And whatever gifts you may have gained from this session tonight, think of something that sincerely concerns you, that you're concerned about, that you're sincerely concerned about, whether it's completely personal, whether it's for someone you know or a community somewhere, dedicate this gift to also address that concern of yours. And knowing, just sincerely considering this diva called wisdom, just considering that in a sincere way, without necessarily making any deep realizations, just that sincere interest gives us so much powerful spiritual energy. And we can direct the spiritual energy to address our concern. And that's why we'll say together, Gyawa di kyokan Sonam yeshe tsogzog shin Sonam yeshe lechung we Tamba kunyi topar sho. Rejoice witnessing yourself in the meditative state, noticing the signs. Now make the intention to come out of the meditation. With that intention, take a nice deep breath. And gently let yourself reconnect deliberately with your immediate surroundings, knowing I'm hearing this, I'm hearing that, I'm seeing this, that's color, that's a shape. My seat feels like this. There's a breeze, there isn't a breeze, it's hot, it's cold. Okay, all right, thank you very much. This was a very brief sort of presentation of the 6 paramitas, and I would like to go deeper into them. So maybe that would be like a course where we go deep into each one of them. Okay, all right. And if that happens, we definitely will know. Okay.
Thank
All right,
you.
thank you very
Love
much.
you.
Love you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Phuntsok.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Phuntsok.
Thank you.
You.